our first guest is Joe Wells. He is a member of One Hope Project, and he joins me now live. Hello, Joe.
Hello, how's it going?
Hi, how are you? You okay?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, doing good.
Good.
Good to be here.
Great. Okay. And you've been doing well in the last month or so with all the lockdown and everything else. That affected you very much?
Um, yeah, it has a bit. I do a lot of music in church, and that's moved back online. And yeah, it's definitely not the same as being in person.
Mm.
So yeah, lots of things online rather than in person, unfortunately. So we're all hoping to get back to doing stuff in person.
Sure. I'm sure lots of us are looking forward to Sunday when we can all be back in church again in the way we've been in the way we hope to normally be in the
Definitely.
future. We don't want to go back to doing everything online, do we? Although online definitely has some perks, doesn't it? So just to introduce a little bit about yourself, where do you live? Where are you from? What do you do? Just let us know a little bit about yourself.
I live in London with my wife Sarah, and I spend part of my time as involved in the music and the worship at a church here in East London, and the rest of the time I'm involved with One Hope Project, kind of leading and facilitating that, leading worship for different things, with that, writing, recording music, and just kind of journeying with a group of people that are part of One Hope Project, part of that kind of creative collective. So that's me and what I spend my time doing.
Sure, that's really great. So it's a life serving the church in one way or another, which is really great. So you're clearly very active and committed, but were you always sort of really active in your faith, or was it something that was always important to you?
I grew up in a Catholic family, and we always went to church. I thought that's what everyone did. I guess what really helped in kind of my faith journey was we went to a family event over the years, each year at Easter, called Celebrate, and just met other young Christians, other young Catholics that were my age, and had a great time really. And it was at that event where my faith became my own, really, going back each year and wanting to explore a bit more about faith. And that's where I really started to love music and worship music, and that's what gave me a passion to kind of do what I'm doing now, really.
Fantastic. So for people who haven't necessarily been to a sort of Celebrate event, what's that like? What's special about those particular weekends and weeks and so on?
It's great to spend some time with people that are kind of passionate and joyful about faith, really. I think sometimes, unfortunately, church doesn't necessarily look particularly joyful, but I always had an experience of Celebrate being really joyful, and it's great that along with faith kind of comes joy, because it's a great message that God loves everybody and he's pleased with everyone, and he wants to welcome people into life with him that's joy and peace and love. And so I found, like, at Celebrate, it embodied that a bit more sometimes than maybe perhaps I'd experienced in some of the other churches that I'd been to. So that's one of the reasons why I loved it, really.
Great, fantastic. And so you're on from Celebrate, and you kind of decided you're going to serve the church in one way or another. Am I right, you're involved with Joel's Bar, is that right?
Yeah, Joel's Bar is like the oldest kind of like age group, like youth group at Celebrate. And I'd been going for a few years and went to Joel's Bar when I was 15, 16, 17, and then had a chance to be involved in on the team for Joel's Bar, and it was a great privilege to give back a bit after kind of going through it myself. And we just had a great time like running and leading that, and some really great weekends and weeks together. So that was really, really good fun.
Fantastic. So what age roughly did you sort of start leading music for people? Was that kind of something that was there always that kind of leading edge to your music, or was it kind of something that you developed later on?
My mum and dad were involved in the music in church back home, and so I learned guitar from my dad, and we did a few kind of youth masses at my church back home, and I suppose that's how I started kind of playing through chords and playing through some of the songs. And then I did a gap year with a community called Zion Community, and we went into secondary schools sharing a bit about our faith and just encouraging the kind of faith of the school, and in sharing kind of our testimony about, why we love God and do what we do. And yeah, it was on that year where I got a chance to kind of lead lots more, and then had a chance to lead a bit of music at Joel's Bar and other Celebrate events. So it just kind of grew and built from there, really. I started doing a bit and then got asked to do a bit more.
Fantastic, that's great. And so if somebody at home's kind of sitting, they may be playing an instrument, or they maybe sing or whatever, and they've never perhaps thought about kind of using that as a way of worshipping God, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I think prayer doesn't have to look a particular way. I think we can experience God in so many different ways, and when we're creative and when we play an instrument or do things that we really enjoy doing, I think God's really in that, and he delights in that himself, and that can be a kind of prayer and worship in and of itself, playing our instrument, and especially when we're kind of singing songs of worship and everything. So I just really encourage anyone, especially young people, if you're starting playing an instrument, to go for it and even make that part of your prayer. Spend some time thinking about God as you're playing, or something like that, because I think that can be a great way that we can pray. Yeah, and the church needs you, basically. We need people who are creative and are musicians to help us and lead the rest of us in some great music and some great worship.
Great, that's really great to hear. And you've got some exciting projects coming up to help young musicians and young worship leaders, is that right?
We do, yeah. We're running an academy in the new year, which is basically like 6 months of some sessions on Zoom and some one-to-one sessions, basically just equipping people and encouraging people to lead music and to equip them to build teams for music in their parish and in their local area and their local communities, basically. So that'll be really fun. That's kicking off in January, and applications are open for that now, so you can check that out on the One Hope Project website. And then also later on in this month, we're doing a Gather Online, which is a Christmas special, basically something streamed on YouTube, a bit like this, where we're going to be sharing a bit about the Christmas message. That's on the 20th on our YouTube channel, so yeah, feel free to check that out as well.
Great. Both those sound fantastic, and the links to those are in the description below this video, so if anybody is interested, they can have a look at those. Well, thank you very much, Joe, for joining us, and it's been really great to have you, and that's all we've got time for, but thanks so much for being with us, and it's been really great to hear some of your story. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right.
Take care, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
See you.